Star Wars 7x7, episode 2059. It begins. Season 7 of the Clone Wars is here with episode 1, The Bad Batch, dropping yesterday. There are a couple of differences between what was presented to us in the story reels and what the final product was. We'll talk about that as we go through the episode. There is a lot to unpack. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. So here's the deal, we're going to break it down, and as we break down this episode, The Bad Batch, Season 7, Episode 1 of the Clone Wars, we're going to talk also, when it's relevant, about differences between the story reel version and the final finished version of the episode. And we actually get to start our breakdown there because the moral, the fortune cookie, the little phrase that shows up at the beginning of each episode, is different. The story reel version said the best defense is a strong offense. And the finished version of the episode says embrace others for their differences, for that makes you whole. But the setup of the episode is basically the same. It's that the Republic and the Separatists are waging a pitched battle over a planet that serves as a Republic shipyard, and unfortunately things are not going well for the Republic. Their grasp on the shipyard is slipping away, and it's going to affect their reserve fleet. How is this happening is the big question, and Rex has an idea about it, but the idea is a little bit different in the way that it's discussed between the story reels and the finished version, and also there's a crucial bit of information that Rex shares in the original story reel version, but is not in the finished version. So in the story reels, Rex talked about an algorithm that he used to analyze Republic strategies and to come up with ways to prevent their weaknesses, but it seems like the algorithm has somehow slipped into the hands of the Separatists, and there were only 3 people who knew about this algorithm. Rex is one of them, and Fives and Echo, 2 other clone troopers, are the other 2. Now, Fives, as we know, is no longer with us. He was killed in that initial story arc in Season 6 of the Clone Wars. Echo is supposedly dead, at least that was the working theory, and this goes all the way back to Season 3 of the Clone Wars. And we'll discuss a little bit more about that later. But in this particular instance, Rex is saying it makes no sense unless Echo is alive somehow. And so upon hearing this, Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker, who are the Jedi generals who are leading this whole, attack situation, say, hey, you've got to go behind enemy lines and try to get to their cyber center and see, if you can recover this algorithm and find out just what's going on. Meanwhile, in the actual finished version of the episode that premiered on Disney Plus, Rex talks about the analytics that the Separatists perform on the Republic and their attack strategies, and how these attacks have become less and less effective over time, but in particular, it seems like that's the case with Rex, like they have his playbook. This is how he refers to it. So analytics and playbook, the word algorithm is not mentioned in this. And so Anakin and Mace say, well, what do you propose? And they propose going behind enemy lines to go to the cyber center and see if they can find out anything about what's happening, because the cyber center is the place where all battlefield analytics are being transmitted off to the Separatists' command centers. And yeah, it's a different sort of origin thing. But in particular, Rex says nothing about the possibility that Echo could still be alive. Anakin says, is there anything else going on? And Rex says, nope. And there's a new scene where Rex is in his quarters in the barracks, and he's looking at an old photo which includes Echo in this group photo. And this is when he first tells Commander Cody, like, you're going to think I'm crazy. I didn't tell the Jedi because they'll think I'm crazy, but I think it's a possibility that Echo's still alive. And Cody says, all right, look, but I need you to focus on this mission. And Rex says, don't worry, I'll focus. And from this point on, the story reel and the finished version of the episode don't really vary from each other in any significant narrative fashion. Clone Force 99 shows up, and they are conveniently named for ease of our viewing. So Hunter, who is the tracker and has heightened senses, Wrecker, who is the muscle of the crew, Tech, who is the tech guy, the hacker, and Crosshair, who is the sniper. So they all head off with Cody and Rex and 2 other clone troopers, Jesse and Kix. Their gunship is shot down behind enemy lines. Cody is injured in the crash, and Clone Force 99 goes to work against the droids who show up to try to kill any survivors, wipe out the droids completely, and escape on foot. Of course, this is puzzling to the commando droids and the tactical droid because I guess this is not part of the analytics that they were expecting from Captain Rex, or the algorithm, if you will. And Admiral Trench, who is that spider guy that we saw at the beginning of Season 6 in that first story arc, says, all right, well, they're on foot, so go hunt them down. But Rex decides to push forward to have an evac called in for Commander Cody, and Kix will stay with him. So Rex and Jesse and Clone Force 99 are going to press on in their mission. It turns out that Hunter can sense the electromagnetic impulses from this cyber tower, and so that's how he knows how to go in the right direction. Rex is like, I thought we were doing good having a map. Didn't need it, I guess, after all. And so they end up reaching an outpost, not the actual cyber center, and decide to take a page from Clone Force 99's book. At least Rex says, let's do it your way. Let's just go right at him instead of picking him off from the tree line. And this also ends up being puzzling to the analytic droids. Ultimately, Admiral Trench says, there's no strategic value to this thing, but he's the one who figures out that they must be headed to the cyber center. So Admiral Trench sends in reinforcements, which means that time is running out for Clone Force 99 and Rex and Jesse. They get to the cyber center, are able to break in to the place, and Tech starts hacking the joint. But instead of finding an algorithm in the computer system, he actually finds a live signal from another planet entirely. And here's some fun with pronunciation. So the clones call it Skako Minor and the droids call it Skako Minor, but same place ultimately. And the transmission, Rex and Tech feel like it's almost human in a way, even though it's very... Rex asks Tech to send a transmission asking who this is on the line, and the code comes back and it is a clone birth code, and specifically it is the birth code of none other than Echo. Echo is in fact alive, and Dave Filoni actually said this a while ago, said, yep, Echo is alive, he survived the events from Season 3 and the attack on the Citadel, but it's still shocking in episode, obviously, and that is the intel that they're able to gather, that yes, they do have a guy who knows a lot about the Republic strategies because they were developed together. Rex and Echo and Fives worked out a lot of these strategies together. So that explains why the Republic is doing as badly as they are in this particular battle. And after the clones escape, Trench grills the droids that survived to try and find out what information was downloaded, and they tell Trench, no, there was nothing downloaded, but there was a signal to Skako Minor, and he goes, what? So clearly this is very unwelcome news for Trench, and it's unfortunate that he knows, at least from the clone's perspective, because that's going to make whatever happens on Skako Minor or Skako Minor that much more difficult for the clones to handle. And that is pretty much everything from the brief here, from the briefing for Season 7, Episode 1. But there is one other thing I want to flag for you regarding Clone Force 99 and why it's named that, and I'll share that with you after the break. Stay tuned. Hey Rebel Rouser, I've made some changes to the asteroid belt level at patreon.com/SW7X7, and they are all with sponsors in mind. So if you want to get the word out about your business, your product, your service to a dedicated Star Wars audience, then please check out patreon.com/SW7X7 and look for the asteroid belt level for details. Again, that's patreon.com/SW7X7. Welcome back. So when Rex hears that it's a Clone Force 99 coming and that they are clones who had desirable mutations, Rex says, 99, I like that. And the reason why he says that is because 99 was a clone introduced to us early on in the Clone Wars series. He was a clone who was malformed, who had physical and genetic defects, and ultimately did not go into combat. He wasn't fit for combat, so he was held back to perform janitorial and sanitation duties on Kamino, but was also a source of inspiration for other clone troopers, and in fact helped Domino's squad complete their training on Kamino to be able to go out into the field. And Domino's squad included Fives and Echo, funnily enough. And later on in the Clone Wars, when the Separatists attacked Kamino, 99 tried to help in the battle by getting ammunition supplies for his fellow clone fighters, was unfortunately killed in battle. And so in honor of 99, who had genetic mutations, the troops of Clone Force 99 named it Clone Force 99 in his honor. And so there you go. I think that's everything to unpack from the Bad Batch, but if there is other stuff to discuss that comes up over the next couple of days, then yeah, we'll talk about it before we get to A Distant Echo, which is going to be episode 2 from season 7 of the Clone Wars. But for now, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me for it as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the galaxy you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.